Hi, Eva. Is it okay if today's coaching session is recorded? Thank you. Today is your second coaching session of the school year as part of your participation in the Math Leaders Academy at Sourcewell. Before today's class period, you shared that the goals you're working on and wanting feedback on today are just general classroom management and student engagement. And then in terms of the NCTM Principles to Actions book from MLA, you are working towards the principle of fostering mathematical discourse with your students. So the structure for today's coaching session is that there are a few pieces of feedback from the goals that you indicated you're working on. And then there will be a bit of extra time for you to ask any questions or share any additional feedback that you have. Does that sound okay? Okay. You began today's class period with a review activity where you handed out some big pieces of poster paper to students. You had them get in groups, and then you had each group divide their poster paper into 6 sections. You gave the class 3 specific questions that you wanted every single group to put on their posters, and then you provided a list of other possible review questions that they could select from and had each group select 3 of those to put in the remaining 3 places on their poster. Is this a type of review activity that you do often with your students? Okay, so this was this something brand new, or you've tried it a couple of times before?
This was the first time.
Oh, okay. So in terms of the student engagement piece and general classroom management, students transitioned to this activity well. They efficiently got into their groups and followed instructions very, very smoothly when you asked them to divide that poster board up into the 6 sections. You had 8 groups of students that ended up working together on the posters. 5 of those groups did get to work right away and remained engaged in their work on the posters throughout the time that you had allotted for that. There were 3 groups that did need some additional assistance from you in getting going, and each of those 3 groups did end up asking you to come over to verbally go over the directions for the activity again with them. In order to help those 3 groups get to work more efficiently, one thing you might consider doing is to just go ahead and write the instructions for the activity right up on the board. That way there's a central place that students can look for those directions, and also then saves your communication, your verbal communication with your students for things like relationship building and presenting content. And so you can just gesture to where you have those instructions written. That also elevates some student autonomy in terms of having them being empowered to have a place where they can look for the information that they need to get working. And finally, when there were a few minutes left of the class period, you had a homework assignment you wanted students to work on. And so you verbally told them what that homework assignment was and invited them to get to work on that for those last few minutes. You did have 22 students in class today. During those last few minutes of class, 3 different students asked you for some more information about what it was that they were supposed to be working on. To help students become engaged with their homework more efficiently, and again, to increase student autonomy and student efficacy, one thing that you might consider doing is on that little side whiteboard that you have sort of close to the door of your classroom, you might consider using that as a place to post some exit directions anytime that students are supposed to be working on something independently. That way, if students do have a question about what it is that they're supposed to be working on, they can either look right there if they remember to do so. Otherwise, if they are verbally asking you for that, that gives you a location in the room that you can point to where they know that they can find that information. So do you have any questions on those pieces of feedback or any other thoughts to share from today?
No.
Okay. Well, our next large group session for MLA is in June, and in the meantime, please do reach out if you have any questions.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.